This is Central Texas Living with Ann Harder.
As the year 2020 draws to a close, not too many people will be sorry to see it go. But often the freshness of a new year brings a desire to start anew, make resolutions. Maybe you've even considered consulting with a life coach. What's all that about? I'm so happy to welcome Mia Thomas to Central Texas Living, the podcast. She is a certified life coach and certified trainer for PATH, which is Planning Alternative Tomorrow's Hope. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you.
It's always so good to see you. There are some people that you're around that you just feel good when you're around them. What is it, Dave? If you could bottle that and sell it, I wish I had some of that. But you're just the kind of person that is naturally encouraging and uplifting. Of course, I heard you at the Leading Waco Women seminar. How long? That was a year ago, spring, I guess, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When was it?
It was February, I believe it was.
Yeah, we actually got it in before the shutdown. That was one of the last things. That's right, before the shutdown, and it was just so uplifting. So let's just talk about what can we do to kind of get some encouragement.
Some of the things that I've been doing for myself this past year since we've had the pandemic. I've learned to get out of my own way. Get out of my way and just be still so that I can have that relationship, because I really believe that we have to have a relationship with the higher power. Mm-hmm. That is so important. And since this pandemic, that's what I've been really focusing on, is building my relationship with my higher powers and working on myself, getting to really know who Mia is and why Mia was created. I wasn't just created to be placed here on earth for my good looks.
And they're considerable.
Thank you. But I was placed here on earth so that I can lead people in the right direction, to lead them to their higher power, to lead them to understand who they are and why they were actually created to be here.
So ultimately, our coach needs to be that higher power. But as a life coach, what should somebody look for in a life coach? I mean, what kind of things do you do? You meet regularly, or how does all that work?
When you're searching for a life coach, one of the things that I would suggest is that you make sure that the individual you're looking for, you have a connection. And when I mean by a connection, that there's I look for somebody that's authentic, somebody that I can relate to, someone that is going to be open and honest with me. Mm-hmm. That's not just going to sugarcoat things to make me feel good when I know that I need more, if that makes sense. You look for someone that, again, is genuine. Now,
there's a training involved, right? I mean,
Yes.
You're certified. So tell me about that. How did you go about it, and what even led you in this direction?
I had some friends that I know that were life coaches, and just, I would say, me having that desire to help people, having the desire to see people change their lives, just made me want to do more for people, made me want to just look more into being a life coach and things. And also, I would say that I just had that passion. Mm-hmm. I've always had that passion. Growing up as a little girl, I've always had the passion to help others and want to see them grow in things. So I just decided to dig in more and get more information about life coach, and I did some training online, and then I also did some one-on-one training with individuals that I know that has been in the field for a long time.
Mm-hmm. So your academic training as a sociologist, your sociology degree, and also criminal justice.
Yes.
So, let's face it, a lot of the problems people have with the criminal justice, bad choices.
Correct.
And so it does kind of make sense that you sort of, evolved into a life coach. Can you, without telling names or anything, are there any stories you can think of people that, have really turned themselves around? I just love those kind of stories,
I actually, I started a new job.
Mm-hmm. Good. Oh, did you?
So I'm not going to call it a job. I'll say it's ministry.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
more ministry for me, working for Texas Department of Criminal Justice. So I actually I teach classes at their precognitive release program out in Marlin, and I love it. I have been working with these ladies, from ladies that have charges such as they have theft charges to robbery to assault charges, just so many drug charges, just all kinds of different charges that they have. And I've been blessed to have the opportunity to sit and teach them, just some real true life lessons, experiences that I've went through myself, and then being able to sit and listen to some of the things and learn from them as well, the things that they went through, and just teaching them how to build a better life, how to prepare to go back into the community to be a better citizen.
Yeah, because that's often a problem where, they just go right back to the same situation that got them in trouble with the law to begin with.
Yes. And a lot of what I'm learning from these women, because this new group, we have about the classes that I have about 30 women that's getting ready to be released in the beginning of January.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting ready to graduate successfully from the program. And what I've learned from them and noticed from, them sharing their experiences, that they have allowed people and themselves as well, people, things in their past to keep them stuck, to make them feel like, okay, there's no hope. I made this mistake, and this is where it's at. You can't move forward in life. So I say that it's not a job for me, it's ministry for
Sure.
me, because I know that I've been placed and grounded there to give them hope, to let them know that regardless of whatever your situation is, whatever happened to you from the time that you were a child, God still loves you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. So a lot of times we allow that pathological critic, is what I tell them. That pathological critic is that little critic that you're this, you'll never be that, that talks to you and tell you all these negative things to keep you bound. And I encourage them to, let's start looking at life in a different perspective. Let's start doing things such as, I always tell them, I am affirmations. They have to speak I am affirmations, positive affirmations every day, in the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon. I encourage them to do this every single day to encourage themselves, because I tell them sometimes you may not have somebody else to give you a pat on the back and say, hey, Mia, you're doing an awesome and amazing job. So sometimes you have to know how to encourage yourself and things. So I teach them things like that. I teach them how to start speaking life into their situation. When you first get up in the morning, what's the question I ask them? What is the first thing that you do when you get up in the morning? Some of them say, well, I pick up the phone, I call my boyfriend, or, when they were out in the free, because they don't have cell phones in the
Right. They're not
right
doing that
now
in prison.
and things. But, they'll just tell me like, well, I pick up the phone and I'll call my boyfriend, and that's the first thing that comes to my mind. No. What is the first thing that you do? The first thing that you should be doing when you wake up in the morning, do you thank your higher power for waking you up?
Amen.
Do you thank him for forgiving you for your sins that we've committed? Do you thank him? Do you speak life into your situation? Do you say, do you not know that the words that you speak in the atmosphere are those same words. If you speak negative or positive, it has manifested and you have created what your day is going to be like.
Mm-hmm. Well, and of course, the good news is that we do start fresh each day. We have a new opportunity to, to make those right thoughts and to make those right choices to translate into that. And I'm just so grateful that there are people like you, Mia, who are helping folks, because the whole idea of, paying your debt to society is that you don't do it again, that you go on and make a positive contribution in life to your family, to yourself, and do something of benefit.
That's true. That's true. I told someone the other day, I said, from the age of 0 to 30, I said, you have so many young people that are comparing themselves to what other people, the different levels that, wherever the other person may be at in life. But from 30 and up, what we should be doing? We should be focused on building a legacy.
Yeah.
Building a legacy to leave behind for our children.
Mm-hmm. What will they remember you for?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not stressing and worrying about, okay, what am I going to do, where this meal? No. I'll say, away with that. That's what my spiritual mom, she said, away with all that nonsense, away with all. But looking at what are you doing right now? What are you doing today to make life better for somebody else? Mm-hmm. How are you paving the way?
Yeah. I want to know a little bit more about you. Where are you from? Are you a native from here?
No, I'm not from Waco. I am from Georgia, Jessup, Georgia, a little country town in Georgia. I'm a country girl, so I'm a country girl at heart. And I ended up being here in Waco because my stepdad was from Waco, and my parents were retired military, so we moved around some and things. And this is what
nothing but your mom. Your mom was at in fact at our time precious. Yes. And they were you could tell she was so proud of you, and that everything you're doing as she should be. But that family dynamic, I could tell, has been a healthy one.
Yes, I have a very strong family, a foundation. My family is very well connected things. So.
Okay, so you got to Waco. Where did you go to school? I mean, I'm told what your degrees are, but I don't know where you.
I graduated. I went to Mary Harlan Baylor for a little bit, and then I transferred and went to New Mexico.
Oh.
So I lived out at Fort Stanton, New Mexico, which was a old military base where the Buffalo Soldiers lived.
Yeah.
And things. So I lived there, and I ended up working for the state of New Mexico doing probation and parole for a drug treatment program in New Mexico. So while I was working there, I was working on my degree as well, and I finished up my bachelor's degree from Eastern New Mexico University.
Very good. So you came to Waco. Let's talk a little bit about your bail bonds business, because I just, it is something that folks need. So what kind of led you in that direction to set that up?
I met someone over the phone, which is, I say this is a divine connection. A family, we do have some family. Everybody has somebody in their family that do something that they know they're not supposed to be doing. So I ended up meeting a bail bondsman out of Arizona over the phone, just talking to him about some business stuff. And he poured into me, and he was like, you know what? He said, I don't know you. He said, but I feel like you will be a heck of a bail bonds woman. And I was like, you know what, I thought about being a bail bonds woman, but I never really thought about just really, doing that as a business. Mm-hmm. And so he said, I want to train you. And he trained me. He taught me everything that he knew and showed me how to build my own bail bond business. Yeah. And I served 5 counties.
Absolutely.
In McLennan County.
For how long? How many years?
I've been doing bail bond business for probably about 4 years. Mm-hmm.
So do you have to go and chase people down if they?
I'm a different bail bondsman.
Oh, okay.
I kind of.
I got something else in my head.
I don't believe. But now some people they do.
I know.
I don't believe. I have. Believe
Dog
it
the
or
bounty
not.
hunter is what comes to mind.
Believe it or not, I many of my clients would tell you that I am a different bail bondsman.
Yeah.
I believe in praying for them.
Good.
I believe in giving them another chance. I don't look at them as being bad people. I look at them as being people that made some bad choices, but there's still hope for them. But I'm not going to play with them either. So they know, they call and check in, and there's a line of respect there.
Yeah. Well, it brings to mind I saw Detective Joe Scaramucci's. I don't know if you know him, McClellan County Sheriff's Office, and he was at the courthouse for something he had to do, and a gentleman came up to him, said, "I want to shake your hand," and it was someone that he had arrested. Yes. And he said that changed my life. That turned my life around. And he said, "I wanted to thank you for that." And he said, as law enforcement, they have to, it's so easy to just view a criminal or perpetrator, whatever, in a certain way, but they're people too, he says. And it was just such an encouraging posting that he shared about that. And I'm sure you've seen that kind of thing.
Yes, it's so funny that you said it, because I've had a couple of people. Actually, I have a young lady. She finished her time. She got probation and things like that. Was successful, and she still keeps in contact with me. Mm-hmm. When I first met her, she was in a bad relationship with a guy, and that was part of the reason why she ended up getting on, because she got intoxicated and some other stuff and got a DWI charge and things of that nature. But it was something about that young lady. She was around in her, I think she was like under 25 years old. Something about her that just kind of had me to mentor her, not as a client, but as a just as a person, serious. And I gave her my first book that I wrote, The Steps of a Real Woman. And I sold that into her life, and she came back and gave me a review, and she was like, "Ms. Thomas, I really thank you for what you gave me, because it was a gift, because it helped me. It helped me to understand who I was, why God created me, and to sever ties with this toxic relationship that I was in.
To recognize it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so this young lady constantly, she calls me still today just to check in, just to say, "Hey, I'm letting you know I'm doing fine. I'm still working. My mom is doing," because I always asked about her mom. Mm-hmm. Her mom she couldn't speak English, but I always I've learned to Google text to translate through Spanish.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
So I've learned to do some things a little bit different when I have clients that don't speak English. So that's my best friend. And that young lady calls me, and she checks on me. She let me know that she's doing well, and we just keep in contact.
That is such a rewarding thing, more than money can possibly compensate, for sure. Yes. But that is great. You've got some other good news, I understand.
Yes.
Engaged. So tell me all about that.
Yes. So I have to go back to last year. I put on Facebook, I went to David's Bridal. This is my great story about manifesting things, speaking things into existence.
Okay.
So I went to David's Bridal. I told him that I was getting married. Didn't have a date or anything. I went and tried on about 10 dresses. Mm-hmm. It's on my Facebook page, where I took a picture of me in a wedding dress. I knew on my vision board, I wrote down that I will be married or engaged in 2021.
Okay.
So this year in October, I met a guy. Well, actually, I had met this guy, but we were supposed to. He stood me up for, and I tell this story because he's going to laugh. If he's listening, he's probably laughing. Why did you tell them this story?
Why are you telling this story?
But we were supposed to meet for lunch. He stood me up. He did not show up,
Right.
and I didn't hear from the guy in almost a year. Well, I was with my son at one of his events that he was having downtown at Indian Spring Parks, and I was helping him. I get a phone call, and I thought it was someone that was wanting to be bailed out of jail. Well, it wasn't. It was this my fiance, my new fiance.
Your
that I
fiance
met.
now.
So, and then we just started. I was like, "You stood me up." And he said, "Yes, dear, I apologize. I was going through some things. I wasn't ready." And
Oh.
so I was like, he was like, do you mind if we get together and we go eat?
And how
some-"
long a period of time was that?
This was last year.
Okay.
And so he said, "Do you mind if I come to Waco and we get something to eat?"
Mhm.
And I said, "Yes." He said, "Where do you want to go eat?" I said, "Let's go to Saltgrass."
Okay.
So we went to Saltgrass. We spent 4 hours in Saltgrass.
Oh.
4 hours. 4 hours. And that was the time he said, "You're going to be my wife."
Okay.
And I was like, wow. So we just had that connection.
Yeah.
And then this year in October, he asked me to marry him.
Okay. So you're engaged.
And I said yes. So
That's
next
exciting.
year we will be having our wedding.
Oh,
We will be at the Baylor Club.
Mhm.
So we're excited.
I'm expecting an invitation.
Yes,
I'm going to
you
go
will
on the
have
record. That is exciting. Oh, Mia, that's great. I love it. I love it. And you were just such a delight always to talk to, and for me to have the chance to learn a little bit more about you and your work has been great. But I like to end these little interviews with a questionnaire. It's similar to the one the late great James Lipton used on Inside the Actors Studio. And so I'm going to ask you these questions. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word that I like to use, I would say my favorite. Can I say my favorite quote?
Sure.
That I can do all things in Christ that strengthens me.
Okay, that's now. What is your least favorite word, though?
I can't.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like when to use that I can't.
Mm-hmm.
That's-
So, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Seeing other people strive, seeing them grow, that just gets me like pumped. So
Yeah, yeah.
people happiness.
What turns you off then, spiritually or emotionally, creatively?
When people say that they can't,
Right.
and they just want to give
In that
up,
negative
that's-
kind of.
yeah, anything that's negative vibes just turns me off.
Yeah. What sound do you love?
I love the sound of rain, water.
Mm-hmm.
Something
I don't know
about
why. A
it's
lot of people have
peaceful.
said that. Yeah, that it was like it just sort of washes over you. But the sound is so calming, isn't it?
Mhm.
We had a good rain this week, so that
Yes.
was good. That's all in Texas. Anytime you got a rain, it's good. So, what's your least favorite sound?
Least favorite sound. Thunder.
Okay. So even though it's with the
Oh, I like it.
rain,
I like
They-
the rain.
you like the rain, but
I
don't
I don't like the lightning.
I don't like the thunder that
The
goes
thunder
with it.
that go with it.
Okay. All right. Well, I knew I had a friend who had a Sheltie dog that that dog would go crazy if it heard thunder. So yeah, I mean, it would go nuts. So yeah, I get that. So what other profession would you like to try?
I don't know. I never thought about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't like when you were a little girl, you always wanted to be a ballerina or something like. There was nothing. You just sort of it sounds like you just sort of move into kind of flow with
Yeah, cause
with the tasks that are before you, and you're thriving in what you're supposed to be doing.
and I
so-
love what I do.
Yeah.
I love it.
I
wouldn't
think
trade it
that's
in.
good. Right. I
wouldn't
see.
trade it.
Is there anything that you would not want to do?
I would say I wouldn't want to do anything with warehouse.
So you're not going to be going applying at the Amazon distributorship.
No, I wouldn't want to do any warehouse.
Have boxes falling on your head or whatever.
No, ma'am.
Okay, very good. So the last thing, what do you want to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I want to hear him say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant."
Very good.
Well done.
Oh, Mia, you are just so much fun. Mia Thomas. And so you have some books. How can folks get some of your writing and learn more about you?
They can go on barnesandnobles.com
Mm-hmm.
or amazon.com, or they can reach me on Facebook.
Okay, and some of the titles you've written more than one.
Yes, The Steps of a Real Woman from Harm to Hurt to Hustle. And also, I am a co-author in the book of Power Moms. And Forgive It, Own It, and Do It.
I love the titles, that is for sure. Mia, it's great. It's just so wonderful to have you. Thank you so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you for having me, Ann. You're awesome.
You're sweet. Central Texas Living is part of the Rogue Media Network family. Be sure to check out their other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate us 5 stars on iTunes and anywhere else you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Living, the podcast.
Hello, and thank you for tuning into KNOW Waco. I am your host, Debbie, here to help you get in the know about Waco. So you may be asking yourself, why am I here? I'm here to be your tour guide through Waco. I'm here to tell you all the goings-on in and around Waco. I'm going to give you the 411 on what's happening, what's going on, and what events you should go to. This is your host, Debbie, signing off. Now that you know, go. Just go, Waco.
You are going on a run.
Are you building a new business while managing a family? Are you tired of trying to balance home and work and everything seems to be coming up short? Then there's a podcast made just for you. Baking Your Business from Scratch is where we create the perfect recipe for building a successful business while managing your home and family with love. Come join us and see for yourself.
This has been Rogue Media Network Podcast.